So I come in and I walk past the couch and I go into the kitchen and I put all my stuff down, and then I turn around and I go into the living room to adjust the piece of art on the thing, and I turn around and the roommate is laying flat on the couch, completely naked.
No. So he's like
just full
on his back.
Salute. And I'm just like,
is he passed out?
Do I move?
Is he like completely passed out?
Just like passed out. Like either partied way too hard. And I'm like, I don't know what he's dreaming of right now, but it must be good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I am your host, Stephanie Zalowski. Cam is actually out of town the next couple of weeks. We miss her dearly, but she will be back. Today, I'm excited to be joined by a longtime friend of mine. We actually met years ago. We're so old.
Don't age us.
Oh my God, sorry. I think it was like our very first day or week in real estate.
We met last week and it was kindergarten, okay? I'm sticking to bad.
He also says he's like 29, but don't believe him. He is an agent with our brokerage Compass. He is freaking hysterical, if you can't already tell. Has me in stitches every time we hang out. He keeps me laughing through deals. We've done a couple of those together. Basically, I'm either laughing or crying, and then he makes me cry when I laugh. So, there's that. Scott Robeson, welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You said it earlier when you walked in. In a world that is chaos for us 24/7.
We need comic relief.
And my friend, you're the one that always provides that for me, because if we don't even talk for 6 months, we pick up the phone and I'm like literally hysterically crying. Like last week when that happened.
I'm just hoping that my stories are like somewhat similar to everybody else's and it's not just me.
No, I think you will be in good company for sure. We've had a couple episodes come out already and you're in good company. Yes. So you kind of told me when you walked in a few of the stories that you had. And so I feel like I think we should just start with a bang.
Okay.
So there was something about a naked tenant.
Okay. Yeah. So
Take a deep breath.
As you know,
Yes.
sometimes we have houses that we're selling and they are rented.
Mm-hmm. Tenant occupied, as we like to call it.
Occupied.
It's the fancy way.
So this was a house full of gay men.
Okay.
Shocking.
Yep.
I text all the tenants, all the roommates, and I said, hey guys, I'm going to be there at 10 to get everything set up.
Were you doing an open house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Open house.
Okay.
Sorry, open house.
Okay.
And so they said, okay, sounds good. Now, these guys are like young club goers.
Okay. So they're not old like us. Speak for myself. I know.
Girl.
Continue. Well, I'm just saying. Okay.
So I told them I'm going to be there at 10 just to make sure the house is tidy. I'll move some things around if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently they had a fabulous little party the night before and got to Schwasty. I opened the door.
What time was the open house starting?
11.
Okay, which, not early, but if you have a rager, then you probably haven't gone to bed yet.
I
Yeah.
was like, listen, these boys were like 22, 23. They probably went to bed at 7 a.m.
And by the way, you're probably still like, just leave. I'll clean up. Just keep going. Yeah. Anyway.
So I roll in there and I come up the staircase and I'm like, hey, anybody home? Anybody home? And
Was the house a mess or had it been cleaned?
it was like decently okay.
Okay. Which,
So I was like, okay, maybe they're gone.
right.
And it was completely silent.
Right.
The TV was playing. I was like, oh, they probably just left the TV on.
Like whatever.
So I come in and I walk past the couch and I go into the kitchen and I put all my stuff down, and then I turn around and I go into the living room to adjust the piece of art on the thing, and I turn around and the roommate is laying flat on the couch, completely naked.
No. So he's like
Just full
on his back.
salute. And I'm just like,
Is he passed out?
do I move?
Is he like completely passed out?
Just like passed out, like either partied way too hard. And I'm like, I don't know what he's dreaming of right now, but it must be good.
No.
Or he really has to pee.
Oh my.
And I was like, do I just like put some cheesecloth over it? Should I put a little top hat?
Is there a tea towel anywhere? Has he got a tea towel that I can just place over?
A plunger?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like,
Oh.
should I like go back down the stairs?
Wait,
And
so everybody else was gone.
they all left.
They just left him there.
This left him there.
They were like, hey man, gotta get up. Scott's on his
Standing
way
down.
over.
Full salute.
Oh my God.
And I was like, maybe if I go back down the stairs and stomp back up, I gotta wake him up and he'll like cover him.
Did you try that?
Yep. Didn't
No.
work.
He is just he's alive, right?
And I'm like in the kitchen, like doing everything I can because I'm like, I don't want to go over there and be like, excuse me, both of you.
Sir, ma'am, you need to exit the premises.
So I'm like,
Do?
what am I going to do? And so I finally grab a blanket from the other side of the couch and I'm like, and I like on the back side of the couch is just lean
Throw it
over and I'm like,
drop.
he like wakes up. He's like, oh, and I was like, hi,
Hello.
open house starts in 20 minutes
It's 11 o'clock, sir.
for you to go, Betsy.
No.
He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So he stands up and it's just like,
Did the blanket drop or did he like keep it around him?
it dropped, but it landed on something.
It was just
A
like
towel hook.
a towel. He's like, I'm just gonna waddle over here. It's
I was
cool.
like, I am mortified.
No. So he like got dressed and then got out.
Got out. Yeah. He texted later. He's like, I am so sorry. That was so embarrassing. I'm like, I am so sorry that like, I didn't know what to do. Like,
Did you tell him that you covered him with the towel?
yeah, I took the blanket and like just tossed it.
Tossed it to you.
Of course, it
Oh
looks like a little TV.
God.
So, yeah.
Oh my God. When was this?
This was like
Last week.
this morning.
Thanks for double scheduling.
Right.
Open house podcast, you know, we're
That's
cool.
why I left the open house.
And you brought champagne. Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
I brought lunch, girl. We're in real estate.
I mean,
It's 5 o'clock somewhere
know.
at all hours.
we had a couple other guests that were like, it was so funny. Like 3 of the guys all brought like Modelo's, like, you know, in the brown paper bag. I'm like, guys, what's happening here? But anyway,
Well, I thought about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't need alcohol to feel comfortable on a camera.
no, you do not.
I just need it to function. Just kidding. I'm like,
And-
it is noon, so or
Listen.
1 o'clock, so it's lunchtime.
At least you're aware of it, you know?
Right.
Admitting it is the first step. Yeah. Okay. Well, the other thing that you had talked about, which I don't know that we really want to go into this, but I think this is hysterical because clearly people just like to whip things out.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
What
is it
is
just
going
me?
on? I think it might just be you. This has never happened to me, by the way. But you were at an open house
Yeah.
and something happened. Like, okay, tell me, was this like a guest
Yes.
or another tenant?
No, it was somebody walking through the open house. So I was in Palm Springs. Maybe that's the first.
Okay, sure, maybe,
The gays.
maybe. I love that. Love
So
Palm Springs, love the gays.
Palm Springs doing the open house, and it was pretty dead. Like there was not a lot of people coming. It was a gated community, and you know those are always really hard to hold up.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So it was towards the end of the open house. I see a car pull up, and this guy walks in, and he's like, "What time are you open till?" And I'm like, "Oh, we close in about 20 minutes." And he's like, "Okay, well, I live in the community just down the street. I do want to come back, but I got to go let the housekeeper out or whatever." I don't know. The housekeeper was a dog or something.
Like, wait,
I'm like, does the
did you
people have-
lock her in? Did you lock her in the basement? What's happening? This is getting strange.
She got a potty. So he's like, "I'll be back." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds good."
So he leaves and comes back.
He leaves, and he's not going to be back in the next.
No,
20
you're like,
minutes.
I'm
He's like, "Are
closing
you
up."
here tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow, 1 to 4." So he leaves, and then the next day he comes back, and it's again towards like 20 minutes till we're closing. And when he comes up the driveway, he's carrying my open house sign, the one that I put on the street.
Sir, he's gonna lock you in the house, and oh my God,
I was like, "I've seen 2020. I know what's up, girl."
same.
My pepper spray.
You're like, that looks like a pen for realtors.
But I'll
It's not a pen. Oh my God, that's a throwback. Banana.
like you just aged yourself with that comment.
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
Oh, do they even make that anymore?
I don't know. It probably had like toxic material or.
Sure. Anyway, kind of like your vape that you're going to be giving up after this podcast.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I have
sir,
a closet vape.
ma'am. Well, not anymore because I just added you and I'm shaming you so that you give it up.
How
Anyway,
do you think I survived? Speaking of stressful situations,
I almost got killed in this house. Okay, so he comes walking up with your
walking
open
up and
house sign.
outside, and there's a courtyard. So he puts it in the courtyard, and he's like, "Hey, it's me again." I was like, "Oh, hey."
You're like, can you take that sign back out where you got it? Thanks.
And he's like, "Oh, I figured you're closing at 4, so I just wanted to help you out." And I was like, "Oh,
It's
thanks." I was
3:30,
like,
but okay.
yeah. There could have been somebody else out there. So he comes in and he's like, "All right, can you show me around?" And I was like, "Sure." Mind you, I've had like literally 2 people come through
Right.
in several hours.
So you're like, fine, I'll
And
give
so I'm like,
him-
I will give you
I'll give you the due.
the full tour.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so here's the kitchen and the whole thing.
Of course.
Here's a light bulb and here's the door. Like people can't see with their own eyes.
Light bulb.
It's that's a view. So we're going through the whole tour and we get to the master bedroom last.
Oh God, I'm scared.
And I'm walking through the master bedroom and my back is to him. And I'm just like, we have this and we have this and it's the mountain view and da-da-da.
Right.
And I turn around and I was like, so what do you think? This homeboy has his pants literally down to his ankles.
Did he have a shirt on?
Oh, his shirt was on, but it was just like...
Drop trap. How old was this guy?
He was like probably 40.
Was he cute?
I mean, he was. I was like...
So basically the story has a happy ending is what you're telling me.
I was like, well, good for you.
So
shame on you and good for you.
Now get out and I'll meet you later in 5 minutes down the street at your house.
I'm like, who have you had
Kick the housekeeper out.
Who have you had sex with and where are they buried?
Oh my God. Can you imagine? So,
and he's like, I'm just like, I mean, maybe if I like...
Did you start laughing?
I laughing, but like awkward. Then I'm like, okay, like, does this guy got a knife or something? Like...
Terrifying. I mean, can you imagine if that happened?
I mean, he brought that clearly, so...
If that happened to like straight people, can you even imagine? Like, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I'd be like macing his ass and like screaming, running out of there.
Go get one of the props in the kitchen. Staging.
The fake knife.
I'm going to beat you with this plastic TV.
Pull it off the wall. Goes over Mish's paper that like you
it has
hit it with
stain
it.
from a murder.
Oh my goodness. Like I knew this open house was a bad idea. No. Okay. So then what? You were like, look,
he's like, you don't want it? And I was like, okay, that is not the question. Number one. And to answer that question, no, I don't.
Time and place, sir.
Yeah,
time and place.
Also highly inappropriate. I was like, it's time for you to go.
So you did. You kicked him out because I mean, my God.
First and foremost, I would never do that at a client's house.
No. And I actually feel like this is coming back. I feel like you did tell me about this. Wasn't this your really good friend that you were selling her property for her?
The referral she gave me.
I
never ever do something
like
that.
Wow. And this isn't like a staged and vacant house. Like they lived there.
No, this was a staged and vacant house.
Okay, that's also terrifying. So he kind of knew.
It's like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, that is pretty ballsy to do.
Unintended. But I mean, again, terrifying because like, what if he was dangerous or whatever? You know what I mean? Like I've literally heard some stories and I'm really careful. There was actually only one open house to take a dark turn here. There was only one open house where I was in North Park. It was actually another agent when we were still at Sotheby's, one of their open houses. And it was a small condo, like 2-bedroom. And it was like in a gated little tiny community in North Park. And it felt safe. It was across from a park. I knew it's right off 30th. I knew exactly where it was. And but I was alone, of course. And I was like, had packed my lunch, you know. Matt Toby was actually on talking about how an open house, he was like eating Taco Bell and somebody came in and he like shoved it in the cabinet and they start opening the cabinets and they're like, oh, somebody left Taco Bell in here. And he's like, oh, it must have been the pre. They're like, it's still warm. Damn it. Now we just always want Taco Bell every time.
Your cheek.
Taco Bell, if you want to sponsor this podcast, I'm like so down. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, me too.
Oh, are we getting some after this? Okay. But anyway, so this guy walks in and it was a decently busy day. And there was this, I got physically hot. Not that kind of hot. Like started sweating. My heart started racing. Like
I got that old.
I know. I was like, am I having a heart attack? What's happening?
I'm flashing.
With the menopause. Anyway, and I was like, something's wrong. Like and he was like tall, lanky. He rode up on a bike. He had a backpack and he had like a tennis racket in the back and he was like sweating. And he just was like huffing and puffing. And I was literally, Scott, I was like, there was something telling me, get the out. Like, do not be pegged in, in this apartment. And I saw him kind of walk in and he had went, the front door was kind of at the front and he kind of went around in the living room and I was kind of over by the kitchen and I went and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My business partner's on his way. He's actually calling me. Let me take this call. Take a look around. And I went outside, waited out by the gate. I acted like I was still on the phone when he came out and he was like, okay, thanks. And like just walked away. But he was like, you just know something's wrong. You know what I mean? I pulled my sign, locked that gate. I left 2 hours. I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Like, it's terrifying. Like, and there's been females that have been attacked by squatters that, it's been a vacant property and they've been like casing the joint. And so you really do have to be careful just because they could still be, you never know. That's terrifying.
I'm like Jeffrey Dahmer all over there. I just want to take some pictures of you.
Man.
Not today, Satan. I do not consent.
Oh my God. Like, seriously, so scary. So scary. Like, oh my God. Anyway. Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled propertyshowcasegroup.com. propertyshowcasegroup.com. Okay, but wait. I think we need to kind of talk more about you. You had a listing. I already know this story, but I feel like the people need to hear it.
Okay. Yes. So I had it was actually my first listing.
Was it really?
It was my first listing.
No, what? I mean, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
And these were wonderful clients, by the way. I know exactly who they are. They were fantastic. The house was chef's kiss.
Yeah, stunning.
Oh, we should talk about that party you had. Anyway, but let's tell the story first.
I wanted them to do staging because the property had been on the market 2 years, had one showing.
Yep.
So we took over the listing.
And this was a huge property, by the way, like massive. How many acres was it on?
12 acres.
Yeah.
Like
it was an estate.
13,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Like huge.
It had a barn. It had other houses. Like it had a guest house. Like it had the whole shebang. Yep.
So I wanted them to do staging and they said, oh, we don't really want to do that. I said, is it money or inconvenience? They said inconvenience. And I'm like, perfect answer. You write the checks, I'll run the show.
Yep.
So I said, you guys move out, I'll move in and live on site and manage construction crews around the clock for 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process of that, the house was completely emptied. We donated all the furniture to charity and
Wow.
clients were gone.
Because they had like moved on basically. Like they would come back or whatever and stay, but they were like ready to sell it. They had other houses. They were like, we're out.
Yeah, they have other places
Okay.
to go. And so
Yeah.
it was kind of like they lived in the staged furniture, which is why it was more expensive.
Because it was like not a blow up bed and a fake TV.
Yeah. And speaking of which, I have definitely jumped on a bed at an open house and it was empty moving boxes and completely collapsed.
Like the scene on Friends where Joey he has the Porsche under the tarp and it's boxes and the guy catches the football and the boxes go everywhere. That's what I'm picturing right now.
Basically. And it was like with
my
other people in the house, the whole bed goes collapsing, pillows fly everywhere.
Was it your listing or no? You're like, let me just do a flop. And the whole thing, no way.
I was like, I think I was doing something for Instagram. And it fell backwards and it was just like, baboosh.
Hit your head. You're like,
Yeah.
I have a concussion. This is not proper staging.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I've not seen that. I've seen
Airbeds.
the airbeds.
Yeah.
And I think
I've seen tables too.
Yes,
Table.
I have seen a table. And then somebody was like, what? Hello? Like, so weird. Anyway.
They must have a bad back.
My God. Okay. So they had proper beds and
Yeah.
linens and the whole thing. Yes. Okay.
So during the process of all the construction with resurfacing the floors and all that,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I
forgot about
slept
that.
on a mattress. There was one mattress.
You were like you were the houseboy.
Right? It wasn't a bad house to be in.
It was not. I can attest to that.
It was like an island all by myself. But I was sleeping on a mattress that the movers would move from room to room to room as they did all the construction around me, which was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a really unique experience because I got to
Yes.
really know that house.
Right.
And
And you guys
I
would kind of see how people do some of those projects and like whatever. Like we're not always there. You know what I mean? And if you don't have a ton of experience in managing projects or whatever, like it's nice to be able to see some of that actually go down. Yeah.
Well, and the other upside that I had previous to real estate was I did project management for
Yes.
interior design firms.
Yep.
So I did manage projects. So it was like kind of in my wheelhouse.
Yep.
But I really got to know, I mean, I knew more about that property than the owners did when they came back 8 weeks later.
I'm sure.
But in the process of being there for 8 weeks, I had to go through all the systems and check everything.
And you were living there basically. You were staying there. Yeah. Okay.
Packed my suitcase and I was living out of a suitcase and a mattress in this beautiful 18
It
million.
was not a bad place to squat. I'll say that. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I can use the hot tub at nighttime. And, so I'm testing the systems and everything. And I'm like, the one thing that's not working is all the security cameras, all of the high-end, high-definition security cameras.
I like
in
these
this
for the-
property.
High definition.
High definition. Like, girl, you could see pores. But
This isn't that, right, Max? We can't see pores. No, he says no. Okay, good.
pores?
Our pores, like we're filming.
Oh, I think you said we can't say it. I was like, oh my God, people are so sensitive nowadays.
Pores.
Oh, yes. That's what I mean.
Skincare. Anyway.
Peasant. Just kidding. No, so anyways, the cameras weren't working.
Yeah.
So I was testing everything. It's on my list of things to talk to the AV team about to get repaired before we actually go live.
Right.
And this is right around the time that The Greatest Showman came out, which I love that soundtrack.
It's really good.
And like back in the day, like I used to dance.
Yeah.
Not on a pole, but like competition.
I feel like I've heard different. Anyway, continue.
No, I used to have a pole.
Oh, got it. Okay. That's where I saw it. Anyway, yeah.
You're like, they didn't.
Rick texts, we have a pool in our apartment right now. Thanks.
Right. Seriously, that is not a shower curtain. Why is it like that? So
I think that's how you do that, but okay.
So the soundtrack comes out, and it's like rewrite the stars.
And you are such a little showman.
And I love to I used to perform.
Yes, you did.
So I'm in this like oasis of a backyard with a like bomb sound system.
Yeah, that backyard was beautiful.
No furniture anywhere, completely empty property. And so I crank up the music, and it is just like my own little dance party.
And there's no neighbors to like look in on.
No neighbors.
There's none of that.
The sound is all interdirectional speakers.
Oh,
doesn't,
cool. Yeah.
Blast out.
Yep.
And I'm just like dancing and like, and I'm just like shimmy, like just being like gayer than a $3 bill. And I'm like,
I can see it all.
cameras aren't even working right now. Like,
whatever.
If any night I can go dance my heart out,
Please tell me you weren't naked.
it'll be tonight. No.
That would have been a great addition to the story.
Right? They're
No.
No. So I was dancing like crazy. And anyways, come to find out, the AV team comes the next morning. I was like, hey guys, the systems aren't working for the cameras. And he's like, yeah, they are. I was like, no, they're not. I pulled it up. The integrated system that all the other programs feed into,
Right.
which the cameras is a separate program that feeds into that system. It isn't working. And he's like, oh, no. It's this app right here. And it's like, and I'm like,
of you doing
I can see grains of salt in that saltwater pool. And I'm like,
and the pores on your face.
And I'm like, clearly the clients, they trust me, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were like checking in just to make sure everything's okay.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is my first listing. It is $18 million, and it is going to be my last listing, all within like 3 weeks.
When they pulled up the camera, was it like outtakes of like you dancing?
The pool, like, well, I didn't actually ask to scroll back and see any of this stuff. I was just like, because I didn't want to tell the AV team, oh yeah, I was gayer than a $3 bill last night.
Let me pull up my footage.
With my glass of wine swirling around.
I need to upload this on YouTube.
Seriously. So I'm just like nervous because I'm like, I don't want to say anything to the clients, but I'm like, I don't know if they're going to say anything. And I wasn't doing anything bad. It was just like embarrassing. Like,
right. You weren't having a party.
Like we're trusting this guy to sell our house.
Exactly. You were there. Yes.
Doing a ballerina contest. It's like,
they were probably very into it. They were like, damn, he's good. You should try for Juilliard.
They're like, your toes. No.
Point.
So when they came back after 8 weeks and we had transformed the house, I told him, I was like, so I have to tell you something. Like,
I just have to get ahead of this now.
And he's like, oh yeah, we saw that. And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? I was like,
live.
Red. And he's like, I'm kidding. We weren't looking at him. And I was like, oh my God. He's like, but now that we know,
we're going to go back and
roll tape. Wait. How often does that DVR overwrite itself?
Never.
Give me your hand.
The footage is forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, did you actually get to see it or no? You were just like, please don't show it to me. Like,
oh my God. I would be mortified.
That's hysterical. He's like, oh yeah, we saw it.
I was like, okay, well, let me pack my suitcase and my little blanket on this.
I'm going to take my futon with me and out I go.
I'm taking my air mattress.
Yeah. It was a regular mattress. They're like, sir, that's the stagers. You got to give that back.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so freaking funny. I mean, I don't think I've done anything like that, but I'm always careful.
You're like, this is actually the craziest story we've heard.
It's one of them, but I really need footage for the YouTube channel. Can we please get some of that and just drop it right in while you're talking about this? And we just like, what do they call it?
Airdrop?
No.
Color guard? No. Dancing with the stars?
Oh, you should go on that show. Shimmy. No, it's like what is it? Like I don't know the ballerina terms.
YMCA.
Oh, you could do that too. Yeah. That'd be perfect, actually.
It's really nice. Do you see the Titan submersible?
No. Like, too soon? No, go ahead. No.
So the Titan submersible is going down here Oh no, what it was the Titanic, and it was like the Titan submersible. You know that
Spirit Airlines.
It's just like, oh my God, people are dark.
Well, it's funny though. I'm here for it too. Thank you. I mean, you gotta laugh. Like you gotta, yeah. Like,
just thought of another one.
yes, go ahead. I love it. I know this happens. I told you this would happen. Like things just start like you go through the deals you've done. You're like, oh, that's a good story. That's a good story. And then you're like, wait, I have another one.
You can probably attest to this.
Okay.
Divorce
Oh.
clients going through divorce are always, not always, 99.9999% of the time, just an absolute shit show.
It's a little contentious. Yeah.
So I had a listing that I was representing the husband, and the wife was like, I don't want to use that agent, because she's like, well, he's going to take your side. I'm like, you do realize that you guys are both on a little boat tied together through this whole transaction. I can't.
Called We're Selling Your House Together.
I wouldn't, but even if I could, I can't hurt him without hurting you.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
It's true. I know.
Girl.
They can't see straight.
It's all about. Yeah. So anyways, he's like, well, I'm not using your agent. So I am forced to co-list.
I was just going to ask. Oh my God.
Which is fine. It was like a 4.
Did you know who the other agent was? So you had
he was
didn't know this person.
Like from North County or something. And yeah. So
yeah, like, all right,
the craziest part was she refused to let me ever step foot in that house.
You couldn't even show it?
I couldn't even show it.
Was she living there and he had moved out?
Yeah. He had moved out and she was staying there.
Sucks for her agent. He had to do all the work.
I know. I was like, bummer.
Oh, sorry. I can't show it. She won't let me. I'll take
Let
out
me
the
talk
commission.
about what I can see in this picture on the MLS.
Light bulb, doorknob. Mm-hmm.
And so
wow,
did the whole transaction without ever.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean, it happens. Like it definitely happens. And I've even had stuff where I didn't know that they were necessarily going through a divorce, but you could tell things were a little rough. And they hired me together, but then as time went on, he would tell me things, she would tell me things, and I'm like, oh dear God, we just got to get this property sold.
Yeah. But you tell her to take out her half of the money. You're like,
God. Yeah. And that's literally what was happening. You're just like, oh, okay, great. Okay, before...
Okay, I'll replace the paper clips with my commission. Can we just move past this, please?
You used one staple out of my stapler. Here's your staple back. Thanks.
Oh my God.
It's insane. It's insane. There's one more story that I don't think I know this one. Something about a car accident? Or did somebody hit your car?
So I was meeting with a client for the first time.
Okay. Oh God. So was this a buyer or a seller?
A buyer.
Okay.
And I think we met at Starbucks or some coffee.
Like the first meeting, like let's get to know each other. Yep. Do that all the time. Sure.
And, I am a firm believer in I'm not always going to be the right match for somebody.
Of course.
And they may not be the right match for me.
Yep.
And it was hard in the beginning because you wanted to get everybody.
Of course.
Then you learn.
You're first starting out. You're like, I want every deal. But you realize quickly it's not meant to be. Yeah.
So, we went through everything and, I think the communication was great.
Okay.
But I think that it just wasn't the right fit.
Sure.
So I just kind of assumed that it probably wasn't going to turn out anything.
And this was a buyer. Mm-hmm. So how long did you work with them?
Well, it didn't. When we left the coffee.
Oh my God, it didn't get past coffee.
They were parked behind me. And they went to back out of their stall and backed into my car and then drove off.
Wait.
There wasn't any damage. There was one little scratch.
Did you see it happen?
I saw it because I stayed in there. They got up and left, and I stayed in there. It was on my laptop, and then I was getting up.
You hear crunch. You're like, what's happening?
I see my car jolt forward. I'm just like,
no. Wow. You're like, well, ma'am, I'm never calling you again.
Yeah.
Wow. How did they find you?
7% commission.
And you're paying all the fees. Thank you very much.
Right.
Wow. So there was no damage to your car?
Just a tiny little.
I don't think that's happened to me yet.
My car's a beast.
Wow.
Sometimes you casually sideswipe somebody.
Mirrors flying off.
Common occurrence, I'm sure.
Oh my God, as if. That aged me too, in case anyone was wondering. What are you going to do? Anyway, it's wild. It's wild. Okay. So we're pretty much, do you have any other stories you can think of or no?
Let me
look at your list because we have a fun little game we're going to play.
Okay.
If you don't have anything else, because.
We've been going a while, huh?
I told you it feels like 5 minutes, doesn't it? I know. Max held up his hand 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes
together,
ago.
We're like,
I told that. No. But have you seen that little joke? Oh my God, if that kid on Instagram, it went viral. He's carrying a little chicken. I can't believe I'm going to reenact this right now. And the mom's like, tell me your joke. And he's like, why didn't the chicken cross the road? And she's like, why? And he's like, because. And he's like carrying, he's like 5 years old.
I think I've seen that.
Cute. Anyway, it just reminded me of that. Oh my God. I hope my niece is funny like that. She'll get my personality. Right?
Right.
Anyway. Okay. We're going to play a game. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The game is called Punch List. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions and just tell me like whatever comes to your mind first. Okay. So the first one is, what is the craziest or pettiest thing that has ever or almost killed one of your deals? Has there been anything?
The craziest or pettiest thing that's ever killed the deal?
Mm-hmm. Like I had one person be like, there was a blanket that the buyer wanted. Ew, first of all. And the seller was like, no. It was like an Hermes blanket. And the seller was like, no, this is my blanket. Like, I'm taking it with me. Like, has anything like that? Or like, I had another one be like, oh yeah, we moved in and all the furniture was sold with the house and it was all gone.
Yeah, I do have one.
Go ahead. What is it?
It literally just happened to me.
Oh.
It was a massive.
Not petty. It was like a major, okay.
I don't feel like I could really get into the details of, of it, but...
Probably shouldn't, but like...
I'll tell you after.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
But it was basically, I mean, it was all cash. It was like $17 million, like straight
Big deal.
up. And the sellers responded back with just a total counter offer.
Were you representing the buyer?
I was representing the buyer.
Okay.
And we had already had a communication and then said like, he wanted to do 13 and they wanted to do 20. And we kind of got to that.
Yep.
They said 18. He wanted to come in at 17. They countered back at like $20 million.
First they say 18, they're like, nope, now it's 20. Price just went up.
And
like,
they said,
okay.
we want our portable pizza oven. I was like, if you're going to make
Sir, that's on Amazon for $300, I'll buy you another one.
Yeah, seriously. I'll get you a
Were they
lifetime
fighting over the
supply.
pizza oven?
It was...
Not even like a built-in.
I can't believe that they would say something like that. And I was like...
It's like not even a built-in pizza oven. It was like right? A portable pizza oven. People are crying.
It was... How the audacity they would even break up something like that. And I was like, I agree, but I don't think it's enough for you to lose the passion for this house that you're so
there you go.
fucking in love with.
Right?
Seriously.
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like we've already answered this, but maybe you have more stories. I don't know. What's the weirdest thing or situation you've ever walked in on? The naked guy. I mean, literally, I feel like there's a lot of those with you. I need you to stop letting people pull out there in front of you, Ma'am, put the mouse back in the house. Thank you. Okay, last one.
Put Darth Vader away.
Something we're going to call it for now. I feel like they have different names for depending on the person. If you could be...
Get your pigs in a blanket out of here.
Oh my God. We need to like literally come up with like a director's to knock my headphones off. Okay. Oh my God. Pigs in a blanket.
Venus Sausage coming over asking for their contract back.
So good.
More sausage, more blanket than there's pig.
Oh my God. It's so good. Oh, I knew this was going to go to a dick place. Anyway. Okay. The last question. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
That's a good question. I have always said that my dream job would have been to be a special effects, pyrotechnics, lighting.
Oh, I could totally see that.
Stage designer.
I could see that.
Like Taylor Swift's concert.
Yes.
You have pink on the fly system.
You've got the creativity. You've got like the attention to detail, like, and you just love like a show like that. I could totally see that.
I'm a feels person.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to a really good song, it makes my whole body chill because I'm just like, oh my God,
this
you
is
just
so
good in it.
Yeah.
And I love I would love the ability to be involved in creating that kind of a wow factor.
It'd be really cool.
It would. I mean, that's like when I did that big party for that listing.
Oh my God, that party was insane. By the way, that was my first ever, unfortunately it's the last time, but won't be the last, I hope, ride in a Rolls Royce. That was phenomenal. It was so fun. We met like at the bottom of the estate, right? And you had to like drive us up the driveway.
Red carpet, step and repeat. And then I had
it was cool.
O'Gara Coach.
Yes, here at La Jolla. Mm-hmm.
They had 3 Rolls Royce.
It was really
1 Phantom and 2 Ghosts.
I think I rode in the Phantom. It was so sick.
Yeah. And so they'd chauffeur you all the way up the long driveway where you got your champagne with a sprig of lavender.
It was Amazing.
Yeah.
Job well done. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We love
I miss
having
you.
I know I miss you.
I feel like-
Cam is sad she's not here. She says hi, by the way.
I'm sorry, Kim.
I know. We miss you, Cam. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.